call the Redevelopment Authority to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Chair Bagwell,
Here.
Vice Chair Giammi,
Here.
Member Horton,
Here.
Member Schuette,
Here.
Member White. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We're going to start with agenda item 3, and we have our beautiful Pastor Pat Prosper from the Calvary Church. Would you start us off this morning?
Good morning.
Morning.
I lift my eyes up to the heavens from where my help comes from. My help comes from you, Lord, maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot move. He will not let you, he will keep you, and he will not slumber. Behold, he never sleeps, he never slumbers. He's the God of Israel. Lord, this morning we come to you and just ask you for your wisdom, your guidance, your protection upon this city. Lord, I thank you for the Board of Supervisors' decisions that they will make. May they be wise. Lord, may they direct the city to the way that you want it to go. Lord, I am very cognizant of a date coming up that is an indelible mark in all of our minds. It's the 24th year of 9/11 event, Lord God, and tragedies that took place. And Lord, I ask you that our hearts would be prepared to remember and not forget. So Lord, with that being said, we ask you for your blessings upon this day. Lord, would you keep our city safe? Would you be with our sheriff's department, our firefighters, and our first responders? And I thank you once again, Lord, in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. And I think I'll have the honor of asking Judge Woodbury, is this your first official action at a board meeting as a judge? See, there you go. It's a pretty good one. Would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Justice for all. Thank you so much. Okay, thanks. Okay, we're now on to opening public comment for the Redevelopment Authority. Redevelopment, not Board of Supervisors. Mr. French.
Denny French, Carson City, Nevada. A little bit of an absence, and I don't expect I will be often at this location for meetings. Can't keep up with the agendas, don't feel I'm prepared, I don't want to be here. I do feel I may not be as prepared as I'd hope. If you look at my public comment, I didn't have help, it's not AI, and you will definitely be able to pick that out early on. My concerns about artificial turf should be everybody's concerns, and I don't want to suggest that I can change any of the direction it's going in, except for to make these additions and considerations be understood by the community as such that are, I feel, very important. You're going to put artificial turf in a location you, under my opinion is, plus others that I've looked up and have found in my studies, are that you need to put out an advisory, at least about the heat and the situations as far as heat exhaustion. Each park and location that artificial turf are located, and I would suggest at any park, that you have activities for youth and for all of us seniors and such, that you put those up, and they would include information about heat exhaustion symptoms, and also make sure that hydration is not just water, that you do get electrolytes. Okay, now I'm going on to this particular form that I've done, and I hope people will pick them up. I think they can contribute to some better understanding. I'd like to suggest that Anthony Stevenson, which is our advisor related to the park's involvement with artificial turf, is not an artificial turf expert. He never said he was, but he has been sort of inferred that he was. So I want that to be clear. Also, I'd like it to be clear that I think he's probably going to do a wonderful job at what he's been signed to do. I do have some concerns about the company that is putting in the artificial turf. I was not able to find if they had certification for artificial turf installation. I do think that there's some consideration on 20A, and I'd like it pulled from the consent agenda, because I feel with the conveyance and the considerations that Jen Budge will still have towards that contract should be discussed, not just a blank shot, yes, no. There are things in here that I think that's not in the information that suggests what the money's going to be spent on. I did not see any water cannons. I did not see cooling stations. I did not see several other things. And as I run out of time, I just want to thank you. I also like to bring up the fact that we lost 100 and something trees. And that, to me, is a crime. We have no excuse. We had been warned. People had advised us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any other public comment in redevelopment? No? Okay, we're going to move on to approval of our minutes of June 20th and July 3rd. Does any member have any changes? If not, I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve the Carson City Redevelopment Authority meeting minutes from June 20th, 2025 and July 3rd, 2025 as presented.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent. Thank you. Clear. We're now on to agenda item 7A, which is discussion and possible action for a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors on some expenditures from our redevelopment revolving fund. It might be more fun. Say hello for us. Ms. Sullivan, would you give us a briefing, please?
Yes, okay, what we discovered is there are 3 projects that do qualify for redevelopment funding that came in over budget. They were the Aquatic Center 50-meter pool filter replacement project, which is seeking $75,000 in redevelopment money. The South Carson Street, West Appian Way roadway modifications and traffic signals, which is requesting $149,841 in redevelopment money. And the North Carson Street feasibility study, which is requesting $60,000 in redevelopment money. The redevelopment budget didn't contemplate funding these particular expenditures. However, in talking to finance, as of August 7, 2025, they anticipate that the revenues in 2025 will be approximately $527,500 more than what was projected. So given that excess revenue that we hadn't anticipated and the need for these projects, I'm recommending to the Redevelopment Authority that you recommend to the Board of Supervisors authorization of these expenditures as I've just outlined. Thank you.
Does any member have a question? No? I'll just make a comment for the record that I'm gonna support this because these are all worthy projects that we need to complete and stay on track. But I'm really concerned that we are obligating the redevelopment fund is really our major source for a lot of our courthouse adjustments. And so I'm leery of expending, so I'd like us to be sure and really hang tight for the rest of the year to make sure we're going to be able to make our other projects that were also funded. So hopefully with all the ARPA money seeming to spend out, some of our construction prices will start decreasing. I know it might be a pipe dream, right? But that's really my hope, is that as we go along, we can bring these projects closer into the engineer's estimates. So I just caution everyone that we might be to bumpy roads. So anybody else? Okay, is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Go ahead.
Ms. Schutte?
I move to recommend to the Board of Supervisors approval of the expenditures as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent. Thank you so much. We're now on to final public comment for the Redevelopment Authority. Do I have any? No? With that, if there's no objections, we will adjourn as the Redevelopment Authority. And I will call to order the Board of Supervisors. Ms. Warren, may I have a roll call, please?
Supervisor Giammi.
Here.
Supervisor White. Supervisor Horton. Supervisor Schutte.
Here.
Mayor Bagwell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We're now on to opening public comment for the Board of Supervisors. I have a request from Kim Fleming. Would you like to come and make public comment? Green.
How about now? Okay. Good morning, Mayor Bagwell, supervisors, and city staff. My name is Kim Fleming, and I serve as one of Northern Nevada's contract managers for waste management. I'm joined today by our Carson City District Manager, Morgan Deal. And I've recently transferred departments in an effort to help support our municipal partners, including Carson City. And while I'm fairly new to this role, I am not new to waste management. I've been with the organization for nearly 13 years, with experience spanning between public sector services and account management. And I appreciate the opportunity to briefly introduce myself and allow you to get a face to a name, and especially for those I haven't had a chance to meet yet. I'm excited to support our continued partnership with Carson City, and I look forward to working with each of you. Waste Management is proud to serve Carson City, not just through trash collection, but as an engaged community partner. We continue to support local nonprofits and community events like the Carson City Rotary and their Teacher of the Month sponsorship, the Chamber of Commerce Leadership Institute and associated class projects, the UNR Community Garden, the Attendance Hall of Fame associated to the Carson City School District, the Boys and Girls Club of Western Nevada, and of course the upcoming Nevada Day festivities. That's just to name a few. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I look forward to our continued partnership and attending more meetings like this in the future. In the meantime, I'm here as a resource for you for anything waste related, and would be happy to talk trash with you anytime that you need. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Would you pass on to your team? I had a compliment for the Carson City office the other day that said how refreshing it was that they could walk into an office and actually speak to someone. That was something, if you recall, we put in our contract. And so I just think it's important that they know they got an attaboy, because we get lots of other things. But
Thank you. I appreciate
yeah,
the
it's
feedback.
important that they made a good impression.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have anyone else that was signed up for. Oh, come on up.
Good morning, Mayor and Supervisors. You don't know me from anybody. But when each of you run for elections,
Sir, just one thing. Can I have your name?
Marshall,
Sure.
if you like my last name, I have to spell it. It's French.
If you could just make sure that Tamar gets that answer for the record. Thank you.
My last name is spelled B as in boy, O-U, V as in victory, I-E-R. It's pronounced Bouvier.
There you go.
All of you, when you ran for election, you all wanted affordable housing. Everybody, point blank. And you know what they're building? Houses for multimillionaires. They're not built. I had a stroke. You don't know my business, but I had a stroke and broke my back in 2 places. I just got out of rehab. It took my whole SSI check to get 2 weeks rent in a motel. And now I'm on the streets until I get my next check. There is no affordable housing. You approve everything, all these things that these beautiful people, wonderful people want and get, you approve. But the things that the people that vote for you really need, they're not there. I mean, I'm one of thousands of people in this city. But I'm man enough to stand up and say, you know what, people, you promised us this, but you're giving other people that. Mayor Bagwell, come on, you know, you've been caring for this city for a long time. I know I voted for you several times. But I just know that whatever and however beautiful all this is and all these people are, and we approved their budgets, but the people you ran and said you were going to do things for, you don't do. It's not happening. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cry, 'cause it's not manly, but
You're okay.
please, 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 all of you. I mean, there's got to be, there's not even rooms available to people. I don't make a lot of money, but I can't afford to live anywhere.
It's tough.
And that was your promise, promise not kept.
Do something different. Ms. Freeman,
I'll get your phone
would you
number.
do me a favor and meet with him in the hallway and see if there's some? Thank you very much. We'll see if we can't get you some help, sir, okay?
Hope's gonna meet you outside.
She works for the right agency that can maybe give you a hand, okay? Oh, no. You're right to ask for, it's okay to ask for help. Yes, it's okay to ask for help. It really is.
I don't, I'll get by. God will, but, you know.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. French.
Thank you, Mayor. Denny French, Carson City. I just met Marshall yesterday, saw him again this morning, and I advised him I was coming to this meeting. He came on his free and his own choice to come. I didn't inquire about his personal business, but it is all of our business, and we have to do better. We can't make people do things they don't want to do with their properties, but we sure could encourage them. I'm here also just to do a public service announcement. I listened to NPR as I was getting ready. There's an algae bloom at the Bailey Pond, and we're advised to stay away. So until they get that figured out, please do. I'm going to continue on my concerns about the artificial turf. I'd like to make some other additions to that clarification and add to what should be on those signs. It's suggested in care after the use of artificial turf is to clean and treat any cuts, scratches right away. Brush off before you leave the field. Wash, bathe, shower before other activities, change clothes. Wash clothes, exposed artificial turf separately from other clothes. Now, we are using an encapsulated rubber that basically, as the paper suggests, is to keep noxious and dangerous fumes from coming out from the rubber inside. How long do you think those capsulations will last with the blowers, with the vacuums, with the spreaders, with the watering? How long do you think those capsules are going to keep our children and our community safe from those toxic fumes that are inside? Sort of like an M&M ad. It will not melt in your hand, but it often melts in my pocket before I even get it open. So things that are capsulated don't always stay such. I also would like to say that the tree issue, while I brought it up, I really would like people to consider the fact that we're a tree city. We're also a dark night city, and we have considerations as a bee city. Well, I don't think we're doing anyone any favors in the last couple years while we celebrate our celebrations and we celebrate our talking about it. What we're actually doing is not serving us as well as I think it could. I also wanted to bring up this thing that's very close to my heart from personal experience. Our judges are working an admirable amount of work already. I feel it's a taxing deal and that they should not have the workloads and the file that they need to cover. They're amazing, and I don't want them abused, and I think we've got to keep them on our minds. I burned out at a job by trying to do just what they are doing now, and it's not good. It's not good for anybody. Thank you.
Do I have any other public comment? Okay, I'm going to move on to approval of our minutes of July 17th, 2025. Does any member have a correction? Okay, I'll accept a motion, please.
I move
Supervisor
to
Giammi?
approve Carson City Board of Supervisors meeting minutes from 17 July 2025 as presented.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent. Thank you. We're now going to join me on the floor, and we're going to do our presentation of length of service certificates. Okay, how about these are in special order? Okay, good. Let's start with, wow, 25 years? Woo, how about it? Julie Harklerode, 25 years? Woo, that is pretty fantastic. Thank you so much for your service. 25, are we gonna beg for at least 5 more? There you go, I like it.
So thank you, Mayor. When I was appointed to be Judge Russell's successor, after my family, he was the first call I made. And he told me the first thing out of his mouth was, "You better keep Julie." And I didn't know if that was a suggestion or a threat, but I didn't intend to find out. But really, Judge Russell didn't need to say anything. Julie and I have kind of had parallel careers in the courthouse. She started out as a front desk clerk, taking the filings, doing the docketing, doing the basic things. She worked her way up to become a court clerk, eventually a senior court clerk, and then Judge Russell hired her in 2021 as his judicial assistant, and it's been my honor to keep her on. She's excelled in every position that she's been in. She is literally the most efficient person I've ever worked with. And statistically, we are one of the very most busy courts in the state. I didn't pay Denny to say that, but I appreciate him saying that. But I would not be able to keep up if it wasn't for Julie. And that would have real consequences to decisions, family decisions that have to be made, for members of our community. So it really pays off with Julie. I did want to tell one brief story. Julie's not perfect. She's not a robot. And her kryptonite is earthquakes. And I found this out the very first week I was working with her, because if you've ever been in the courthouse during an earthquake, that building will move. And I was standing at her desk with her. We were going over something, and we had a good one. We had a pretty fair earthquake. It starts moving. And Julie, professional, proper, polite Julie, let loose with a string of obscenities that made me blush. She said things I didn't know what they meant. I had to look them up on Urban Dictionary. But aside from the earthquakes, she is absolutely a delight to work with. I'm grateful for every day I have with her. I know there's a lot of people in the room who feel the same way. So thank you, Julie.
Sounds like we better beg for more than 5. Maybe you can have a goal of being the longest serving employee in Carson City. Sounds like it. She's looking at him like, forget it. Okay, how about, now this one I know. Come on up here, Lena Rezick. Oh my gosh, 20 years. 20 years as and she's our assistant planner right now. I think she's kind of moved up in life through the chairs too.
Thank you. Will you hold this for me? Thanks. You ready?
Go for it.
All right. I got to keep up with Jason. Now I got to keep up with Lena. Knock me over with a feather. I can't believe we're here today. And it's not because Lena's been here 20 years. It's because Lena doesn't like being the center of attention. But she's here today. So in 2005, Lena joined the city as a building permit tech. In 2007, the job description was modified to include business license. In 2008, she was promoted. Oh no, Kelly can't leave. Okay, she was promoted to senior permit tech. In 2012, she earned her associate's degree in general business from WNC. In 2014, she earned her permit tech certification from the International Code Council. In 2019, we decided to change her job description and had her support the planning division instead of business license. And in 2020, she was promoted to assistant planner. All of this while having 2 little kids at home, Drew and Kelly, who aren't that little anymore. It wasn't always easy. I'll skip the part when I came to town. In 2014, through retirements and resignations, the only staff member in the building division was Lena. The city contracted with Douglas County while it looked for a long-term solution. Lena did what Lena does. She put her head down and worked. It was hard. But every time she stuck it out through the hard times, she did it for 2 reasons. Kelly and Drew. So we know Lena has good technical competencies and a good work ethic, but can she give good customer service? I asked her that in 2017. I asked her to report out to me on every customer compliment she got. On July 20th, 2017, a business license customer told her she was awesome, and an engineering customer told her she was the best. On August 1st, 2017, a customer told her that she's a fantastic woman, and it was only 9:15 a.m. On August 8th, 2017, Will Adler told her she was fantastic. On May 14th, 2018, a customer told her she was, quote, the most helpful person she had talked to. But I'll fast forward to earlier this month. A customer wrote in, Lena Rezick responded to my email inquiry immediately and is so polite and professional. Could not ask for any more. Great job, Carson City Community Development. So more important than Lena working for the city for 20 years is the value she brings in helping our customers. Lena, I didn't get you a bouquet. See Max over there with a bouquet. Instead of a bouquet of flowers.
Thank you for all you do, Lena. Thank you. Okay, how about next? Okay, this is only 10 years, so, you got some goal setting going on around here. How about Erin Jackson with the Juvenile Probation Officer? I just had the pleasure of meeting you, so thank you for all that you do for those kiddos. It's a lot of work, I know it.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Erin, for being here. I know you hate public recognition, and I had to twist her arm to get here. Erin currently serves as a juvenile probation officer. She's been with us for 10 years. She came to us as a detention person at Juvenile Services in Washoe County. For a decade, Erin has brought unwavering loyalty and compassion and professionalism, not only to our department, but to the kids that she serves. She currently works with our wilderness program and our drug court program. Those are our 2 toughest programs to facilitate and also have our toughest kids in them. She does a fantastic job when she runs the program. In addition to that, she also serves as a field training officer for our department, shaping and training our new probation officers that come into our department. I'm incredibly grateful for your loyalty, your dedication to me, to our department, to our community, and to the kids that you serve. I also brought a little challenge coin for you. These are our newly made challenge coins from our wilderness program. The challenge coins, they signify unity and pride and teamwork, and that is something that you definitely display day in and day out. So thank you so much for everything that you do, Erin.
And I can't decide if it's an honor or not, but Erin is like famous for nicknames. So that was quite interesting to attend the Wilderness graduation, but I can tell you she's a really great asset to the community. So thank you. And hopefully, I can't decide if I need a nickname or not, though, right? I don't know. That's what I was afraid of. No, or what was the one that had the stuff up in the tree that they had to climb and get? Yeah, the Boy Scout. Yeah, I was like, ooh, no, it's not for me.
And being a politician, you probably already have a few nicknames. You just don't know.
But hers are nice. Okay, next we have Courtney Warner, who 10 years. Courtney, our senior center director. I'm telling you, we've got great assets going on around here. Thank you for all that you do for our seniors. And not just the seniors, but just that you participate in the community. Really, really want to thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Courtney. I'm honored to be here today to talk about Courtney and her contributions to the city. We're very fortunate to have Courtney. She serves a dual role at the Senior Center, being both a city employee and also executive director of the Senior Center nonprofit. Her position is funded by the city, but she actually only has 2 city employees, and all of her other employees are funded by the nonprofit. So it is a small but mighty staff over there at the Senior Center. Courtney's leadership and unwavering dedication to the well-being of the senior community has elevated the Senior Center's programs, increased engagement, and strengthened partnerships within the community. However, programming and running the Senior Center are not her only responsibilities. This last year, or maybe it was a little bit longer than this last year, she led the construction of the new congregate dining room, which resulted in a choice menu and to-go pickups at the as new dining options. And she also has dabbled a little bit in lease amendments through the Autumn Hills apartment complex. And that was a challenging role, I think, for all of us because it was a unique situation. But Courtney led the charge, and she made sure that both the nonprofit and the city were well represented in that. One of Courtney's most commendable qualities is her ability to balance warmth and compassion with assertive, confident leadership. In a role that demands both empathy and decisiveness, Courtney consistently demonstrates emotional intelligence and professionalism when interacting with staff, residents, and community partners. And she treats every individual with respect and dignity, creating an environment where seniors feel heard, valued, and safe. So we do also have with us Mike Pavlakis from the board.
I don't know how to beat that. What I can tell you, Courtney, is I remember 10 years ago interviewing you, and you were thinking about moving here from Washington State. The competition included a former director of the Senior Center, and the city manager at the time and the board voted for you. And that's one of the best decisions I think that we've ever made. Your commitment to our community is huge. You're not only the director of our senior center in both the public and the private capacity, but you live in the community, your children are here, your husband is here, and you have deep roots that you've settled in the community. When I hear the gentleman looking for resources, I think Courtney can get him fed, and Courtney will get him in touch with the people that can find him a place to live. And Courtney knows how to make those connections. Courtney's tough, but she's compassionate. I remember the former director telling us people are not allowed to take water in cups outside of the dining room. I've never heard you talk about rules except potential abuses. What I've heard you talk about are compassion and concern about people who have no place to sleep and people who need food, and the thousands of meals that you deliver every year, the congregate meals that you serve, the construction projects you oversee, the housing that you feel responsible for next door. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. I don't know that I see her, but she might be lurking in the hallway. Is Pamela Kinger here? Oh, she is lurking in the hallway. Wow, 10 years. Thank you for, and it's a quiet Pamela who just sits in that office and crunches the numbers. She's a woman after my own heart, if I am truthful. That's certainly my cup of tea, but always, always looking out for our numbers and for our city and our budgets and just doing a great. Are you pinch hitting? Okay, I tried
Thank
a
you.
little there.
So again, I'm honored here today to congratulate Pam on her 10 years. She's on vacation, so she couldn't be here, but she asked me to read this for you. So I'm acting as Sherry, but don't ask me any finance questions. Pam, since we met at Kafori Armstrong years ago, more years than I care to admit, as pretty green tax preparers and auditors, we've gotten along and just worked well together. Over the past 10 years, it has been my pleasure to work with you here at Carson City through the Christmas celebrations, indicating that we've made it through another reporting season, to the implementation of Munis, the best and worst of times. You're an amazing sounding board for the department, listening to everyone's heartaches and asking for nothing in return. I can never thank you enough for all the late nights and weekends, advice when hiring, and deadlines that you've hit. Additionally, thank you for all the training offered to new team members and customer services provided to the employees citywide. I am proud to call you my team member, my friend, and I certainly hope that we have several more years ahead of us, making Carson City Finance Department the department known for its strong integrity and accuracy, while still managing to have a little fun as well. So congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, how about 10 years as a sergeant, Daniel Reese? Whew. 10 years? Where's all this time going? 10 years, thank you for your service, truly.
Lord Almighty, you meet a guy early on in his career and you see the spark, and this is what this gentleman represents. I saw that the very, very first time I met him when we hired him as a young deputy. Been assigned to every unit of the department on task force operations, special enforcement. He is our newest patrol sergeant. He is the new sheriff in town out there on the streets, taking care of everybody and making those immediate decisions. Daniel, thank you so very, very much, and congratulations.
It's supposed to say 15 more years.
Oh, I got him. Don't worry about that.
No, I just want to make sure, when they're down there at only 10 years or something, you really got to push it. Thank you for your service again. It's very appreciated. Okay, 5 years as a lead sheriff support specialist. How about Kayla Peterson? Come on, Kayla.
Lord, Kayla. Been what, a year and a half? Year? First round draft pick out of the court's house. She went from the courts to the fire, and we could not be more happy with it. Our civil and records division, where she's heading up in charge in there already, really has the enormous task, as the judge said, keeping the processes going. Her vast experience in everything, both on the court side and on the sheriff's side, has led her right into that leadership role. I could not be more happy to have her at the sheriff's office. Thank you.
Okay, and our last one with 5 years of service. Come on, our landfill gate attendant, Joseph Crowley. Do you like the new gatehouse? Do you like the new gatehouse? Woohoo! We can keep him another 20 years now because we give him a good gatehouse.
Joe is absolutely awesome. He finally got to us after spent a little time at parks, a little time at facilities, and eventually to the gatehouse. This guy should teach a class on making first good impressions, because as our customers come through, he has always got a smile, and it's not because they make him happy. I guess he can talk trash with a smile on his face. So And that's really what we're looking for these customer service jobs, and Joe just exemplifies that trait. So we're really thankful to do that. The other thing he's known for is how tidy and clean he keeps his workspace, and it encourages others to do the same. So yeah, thanks for 5 years, Joe, and definitely 25 more. We'll do that. Yeah.
Make sure that's recorded in the minutes. There you go. Wow. Is there any family and friends that would like to join in, or coworkers? We love our massive pictures of success. That's really what this is all about, is a community success. So come on in. Oh, yeah. Lexi's over there like, how big are you trying to make this picture? Oh. That's what it's all about. All right. Well, again, thank you all. Okay. We'll take just like a brief 5-minute little recess to let people clear. to order. We're now on our consent agenda. Any of you want anything to discuss? No? I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda consisting of item 15A, 16A with resolution number 2025-R-23, 16B, 17A, 18A, 19A, 20A, 20B, and 21A, all as presented.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect we had 4 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent. Thank you. And just on the record on that too, an earlier public comment from Marshall, one of the items we just did today is to allow rural housing to have our private activity bonds, and that certainly supports affordable housing. So we are always conscious whenever we can to help in that arena, but just, I know that he left, but I wanted to put that out there on the record. Okay, we're now ready for agenda item 23A, discussion and presentation by Mission Critical Partners of our workforce needs assessment. Sheriff Furlong, are you going to start this off?
And Madam Mayor, we're in the room next door. We are trying to get the attendees connected. We apologize for the delay.
I can stall.
Oh, your attendees, sorry. I didn't realize you're saying Mission Critical Partners.
Mission Critical
I see it.
Partners.
Okay.
What a great name, because they are critical partners. Just a small introduction. This board funded a study on our dispatch center. Very, very timely as we transition to a new platform here in Carson City for our public safety services. Mission Critical Partners has been a mission critical partner of the Sheriff's Office for quite some time. Are we close to getting going?
It's going to be IT.
She'll let us know when we're ready, right?
This is basically a information item. The board funded this study over the last several months. We have worked very closely with Mission Critical Partners along with our partnership with the fire department to ensure that we continue to provide the best services down the road in the 5 and 10-year and 15 and 20-year plans. I think Stacy and Curtis were on our front line back when the Public Safety Master Plan was published back in about 2000. And we have not had an update since then, though that plan remained critical to me all along. And those items that the Abbey Group had submitted back then are still in place today and shared with Mission Critical Partners. How am I doing?
Amazing.
Just keep on going? Stacy.
Could you maybe do like a little tap dance or something? While we're...
I didn't fare well in the dance competition.
I know.
I won most humorous.
Yes, no. And you danced with me even.
Yeah. Just as
paid money for that. Yes.
Just as a small introduction, we have discussed with a few of you. The highlights of this study are going to be presented today. They are basically the highlights. This board has received the full report. I felt it was an obligation of the Sheriff's Office, since you did provide for the funding for this analysis or study to be performed, that both you and the public deserve that right for transparency to see the outcome, what was produced out of that. There are other documents that have been included in the research of this, which includes is it the fire department master plan, or is that what it's referred to? That was produced about 5 years ago, along with our intention.
If you are the meeting host,
as we go forward,
Trying.
there is a bit of a separation here, and Under Sheriff Tushbon sitting next to me is my real powerhouse here. This study coincides with the implementation of the Tyler project, the CAD, which is our computer-aided dispatch platform that is being implemented. So a lot of that information about the technology that is advancing here in Carson City, keeping our public safety number one and first, is not necessarily contained in detail in this report as it is evolving, and that kickoff began in about July with funding from this board again. And so as this was winding on down, some of those technology references that you might expect are not there, but we certainly have the expert here to answer any questions along that path. You want to keep Danny in
Okay,
here?
we should have Gigi in here now. Gigi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you see and hear me?
We cannot see her.
We
I
can
can-
hear you, so go ahead. Just introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, and good morning. I'm Gigi Smith. I'm the project manager for this study. And joining me, we also had Ron Henry and Jenna Streeter, but I am not seeing that they are online with me as of right now with the new link in. We are with Mission Critical Partners, and we appreciate this opportunity to present our findings for the recent workforce needs assessment for Carson City Sheriff's Office.
Go ahead, you can proceed.
Thank you. It's my understanding that you have the PowerPoint there
We do?
in front of you. Okay, great. I will go through. I'm not seeing that on the screen here, but I'll go through my notes and move ahead as we complete through. If you go to the next slide, definitions of success, please. For this project, MCP's aim was to assist the Carson City Sheriff's Office in conducting a workforce needs review for its public safety answering point, otherwise known as a PSAP. We focused on recruiting, hiring, training, and retention, seeking to identify what really matters, determining CCSO's needs, and developing a roadmap for their success. Next slide, please. To do this, Mission Critical Partners spent 2 days on site facilitating stakeholder listening sessions, focus groups, and interviews, which augmented our cadence of virtual biweekly meetings and our processes for distilling and analyzing both the quantitative and qualitative data that we received. Next slide, please. Using national standards, best practices, and industry experience, over the next couple slides, I will offer the themes and the observations that MCP identified. Those being CCSOs, dedicated staff, and strong leadership are proactively improving service levels by deploying new technology and implementing best practices to ensure excellent support for the community. We also found that CCSO has successfully restructured their training program, which in turn has enhanced trainee preparedness for on-the-job training, reduced new hire washout, and doing so can in turn decrease overtime, as well as the workload demands of the existing staff. Our team also found CCSO to be effective in attracting a strong pool of candidates, and we found that their hiring process was efficient and fast, keeping those who were applying for the job interested and available. Next slide, please. Continuing with more observations, despite the challenges like significant ancillary duties and competitive pay rates, the CCSO staff and their leadership are actively working to optimize operations, improve conditions, and show their dedication to continuous improvement. We found the CCSO to have successfully implemented a change management approach. Doing so has postured them for success, particularly with the numerous planned technology upgrades that are coming. We also established that CCSO is deeply committed to the modernization and well-being position to integrate the new technologies, and these new technologies will effectively reduce staff. It will effectively reduce, their workload and enhance public safety. The next slide, please. Moving into our recommendations. From this sampling of our themes and observations that were found in the study, we as a team also offered our recommendations, understanding that not all recommendations may be accepted or approved, and that different timelines may exist. Our intent with the recommendations is to assist in creating a roadmap, or as some agencies would refer to it, a strategic plan to guide them and support them in the years to come into the future. As such, recommendations that you see on this slide will serve as a basis to build a comprehensive strategic plan to guide the CCSO in both short and long-term planning. While having a number of recommendations found in the study, I want to first just commend CCSO on their overall improvement and their strategic planning. We found CCSO to have a strong foundation, and their continuing efforts to address systematic challenges to improve recruitment, retention, and overall employee well-being. Their efforts include enhancing communication, standardizing processes, refining interview techniques, and improving compensation and benefits. This in turn can position CCSO to compete with the other agencies in the region. Looking at the recommendations on this slide, we're looking to expand the current organizational chart to include a PSAP director and operations supervisor in order to better align the duties, reduce that overtime, and create a clear succession pathway. Additionally, the recommendation is that the training program should be assigned to the operations supervisor. We also recommend a compensation study to determine any necessary adjustments to pay and enhance interagency collaboration to establish working groups with the Carson City Fire Department that will align and facilitate policies and procedures. Next slide, please. The recommendations that you see here focus on immediate actions to optimize and improve the hiring process for the CCSO. To accomplish this, my team is recommending assigning at least one public safety communications officer as a dedicated call taker for each shift to improve call handling, developing a standardized observation form for staff to complete after facilitating candidate sit-alongs, which is part of the process for hiring, which in turn should streamline the evaluation process, and enhancing applicant preparedness to promote equal opportunity. We're suggesting that the language on the interview invite be updated to include where and how to find and use any available tools and resources. Next slide, please. This slide now identifies recommendations for optimizing internal processes and workload management for CCSO. It's recommended that an internal review of ancillary tasks be performed by the staff to identify tasks that could be shifted to other departments or divisions, thereby reducing the workload on the communications officers and the supervisors. And again, emphasizing the importance of and to continue to enhance their change management process. Our team also recommends that the CCSO survey their staff during and after changes, and then moving forward based on that feedback and the observed successes to formally document the change management process. Before moving on to the next slide, I once again want to just express mine and my team's appreciation for this opportunity and to say thank you to the sheriff and his team for their participation, their responsiveness, and their flexibility. Moving on to questions, I will open it up if anyone has any questions for me.
Does any member have a question? No. Okay, nope. Thank you for your presentation. We appreciate it. We're sure you look lovely today.
Yeah.
I show that I am on, and yeah, it's good to see you. And again, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Again, this is Sheriff
Thank
Furlong
you.
for the board's information. What this does is it provides us with a platform where we can begin a process renewing from that 2020 plan or 2000 plan, begin our 5, 10, 15-year plan in our communication center. that will account for the growth of Carson City and the technologies. As I've discussed with others, with all of the technology that is being put in place for fire and medical and sheriff's functions, it takes people on the front line, and it takes those people a tremendous amount of time to get trained and up to an efficient level of operations. We are already doing most of the recommendations have already been implemented in some way to dispel any fears. We plan, our next step is that to develop that 5-year plan and work with the city as funding is allowed. All governments have to operate within that. We don't just change everything overnight. But over the next 12 months, what we will have is an effective and efficient plan. We already have implemented the reorganization charting, if you will, or flow. We will be bringing on enhanced technology with the Tyler Corporation. And I look forward to that next 12 months. Really, the biggest goal here is summer of 2026. So with that, if there's any questions at all.
Supervisor Schutte?
What would you say has been the biggest lift in this whole process, the most challenging aspect of it?
Of which process?
Of the added IT and the communications and
I don't know if I'm going to answer it, but I think I'm going to. You know, the city has provided renovations to the structure itself out at dispatch. We have a sound facility, in other words, structural facility. We just replaced the roof. We've added in secure fencing, emergency vehicle fencing, and so on. We have completely overhauled the interior of our dispatch center. All of the connections, if you will, the entire room was renovated. And we have good sound, solid staffing in place right now. As I've discussed, the biggest challenge that I see, which does apply to this board and our partners here in the community, is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is probably one of the most expensive pieces along that path for our operators to contend with. And when I say that, many of our rooms have just turned into huge data rooms. And we could not possibly do this without that heavy direct support from Frank and the IT section. They are constantly on board with us. That's really where our challenges are, is to maintain that infrastructure currency. We buy our phone, and a year from now, it's out. Well, heck, you can't even buy it without getting updates to it. Infrastructure is everything, and that's the biggest challenge. The people, they are the most enthusiastic and innovative, and I sincerely do appreciate that. Does that help a little bit?
It absolutely does. Thank you.
I don't know, Kevin, you want to try?
So Kevin Nyberg for the record. You know, dispatch is our front lines safety net for our sheriff's officers and our firefighters that are out there on the line. Making sure that they're current, that the technology is up to date and mostly reliable, you know, and just setting that foundation. I think that's what the biggest takeaway I got from the mission critical study. And we sat through a longer PowerPoint a couple weeks ago that went into all of the details of the policies, things that Jen can implement with her team, hiring practices, retention, all those pieces come into play when we're talking that when a sheriff's deputy picks up the radio and is looking to get a hold of somebody, whether it's just routine or whether they need help on the other end, that reliability is there. And so with this study, it gives us a great foundation to work for, you know, like the sheriff said, 10 years, we got some goals. We have some things that we can work towards. We have already, between us, started working towards those with a new structure in place on how fire and law is going to work together to accomplish some of these things. So we're already knocking out some things, and I know Jen has knocked out a ton already. But just giving us that foundation, I think, was key with all that. So I applaud the study. Thank you for doing it. Thank you to Gigi's team. I mean, they did an amazing job. So,
And just as maybe a final comment, I would ask Jerome, Under Sheriff Tushpont, to just chime in for a moment about the technology that we are moving on right now, because really this study and the technology that's being implemented are critical to this board and an expectation.
Jerome Tushpan for the record, to go to your question and to honor the fire department, our team has full-time jobs, and we are implementing a massive amount of technology into our office. We are drinking out of a fire hose as we're trying to get this done. And a lot of things that we are doing technology-wise, we started the plan in about 2021. So a lot of the things that we were anticipating, the technology has moved ahead, the money has moved ahead. So we're working with Frank's team to go, how do we make this happen? And the company had said, well, this was the plan in 2021, but now the technology says this. So there's a lot of things moving around, and we're trying to be agile and get things done and still get what the mission is, along with not only this program, but other technology. And I welcome you to come into my office, because it's starting to look like a war room as all these projects are starting to happen. Over on our side, we have three basic things going on. We have the records, or what we call RMS. We have dispatch, which is CAD or mobile, and then we have the jail. And then within all three of those, there is smaller projects, and sometimes up to 7 of all of those. And then we also have the Axon project, which we've been talking about that. And all those things overlap, and they go in, and we are working very hard to get all of those things done, and make sure that we, and my poor team hears me saying this all the time, we have to set the foundation up right. Because if we take any shortcuts right now, it's gonna make that house crooked. It's gonna make the electronics not work right. It's gonna make the plumbing not work right. So we have to make sure that we spend a lot of time and energy making sure the foundation's right today. So as we go through, we can add on to that structure. We can start to do the remodels correctly, and the city won't have to spend a lot of money later on for additions or remodels as things go forward. So hopefully that answers your question, Sheriff, and hopefully you can see the care and the attention and the energy that we're putting forward now today to get this done right.
So all projects are coming into play that this board has been working on. New fire station, backup centers, backup communications, integration amongst everybody that is on the forefront. I will close with this. Tiburon is, if we're going to call it by its old name, Tiburon was our platform for over 25 years, Stacy. 25 years. The folks that went through this with that program 25 years ago should be commended. We got 25 years out of a product. That's a heck of a payback to the city. I hope that as we can complete this process over the next 12 months, we will get another 25 years and save the
We're
taxpayers.
going for 26. We're having a good day today with all the employees. Let's push it, 26.
Yes. So thank you very, very much, and thank you to Mission Critical Partners.
Okay. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your work. And I did notice one comment in there about what a spectacular center we have for dispatch and how they beat national averages and everything else. So thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item 24A, which is the appointment of a citizen at large to our advisory board to manage wildlife. I think Doris is the only one. No Debbie, right? Well, come on up, Doris. We're happy to have you this morning, and thanks for sitting through our morning activities.
green
And
light,
it
okay.
turns green.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much for applying for this position. We'll just ask you a question or two,
Okay,
and
great.
then, I don't know, I'm thinking you have good odds here. So
Thank you.
why don't you just tell me a little bit about your why? Why do you want to serve on this board?
Well, I've been very interested in environmental conservation for most of my life. Since I retired from Carson Tahoe Hospital, as I was a hospital epidemiologist there. So I've been always interested in microbiology and the transmission of infectious diseases. I got involved in environmental conservation through turtles and tortoises, and I've done a lot of work, field work, both internationally and nationally, in the conservation of turtles, freshwater turtles and tortoises. And I've done some work with infectious disease transmission amongst tortoises and turtles that have been captive, primarily through poaching of these animals, and then trying to reintroduce them back into the wild, which has turned out to be a big problem because of the infectious diseases they acquire by being in very close contact with each other. What I've learned a lot about this type of thing is that this type of work is much more complicated than you think it is. And so I really would like to, what I see here, what I see in the wildlife around my home, is there's a lot of wild animals that we have in Carson City. I back up to the Anderson, our house backs up to the Anderson Ranch land, and we have bears, and we have deer, and we have raccoons, and just about everything you can imagine that comes into our backyard. And the problems I see with conservation, environmental conservation, is that where you have an interface with wild animals and man, it becomes a problem. And it's usually a problem for the animals more than it is for the people. And the people all want to help. They all want to get in there. They think the bears are cute. They think the deer, having the deer in their backyard, are cute. But it's a problem, and it usually becomes a problem for the animals. So I really am interested in developing, getting involved, and educating the public as to what the problems can be and how we really need to help these animals in ways that they don't really realize they're helping, and educate them in ways that they think they're helping and they're really harming the wildlife much more than they're helping them. I know bears are a big problem. We have bears in our backyard monthly. They climb over the fence and they get into our neighbors' yards. They get into the garbage. They get into the apple trees. And people don't realize that once these bears become nuisance bears, they get killed. And when I remind people about that, they're mortified. They think, oh, why are we having to kill these bears? Well, the minute the bear takes out somebody's little dog or kills a cat or confronts a child in a yard, the bear becomes a problem and the bear has to go. So I think my biggest interest is helping people understand how that interface works and how we need to, as really citizens of our wildlife and our conservation of that environment, how we need to help develop the education programs to help our wildlife and work with our populations to make that be better stewards of that education and that interface.
Great, thank you so much. Does anybody else have a question for?
I have no question. I just have a comment. I worked with Doris a fair amount
Yes,
in her
we
hospital
did.
days when I was at the fire department, and on employee health and exposure issues for some of our firefighter paramedics over the years. And she's top notch, well based in scientific practice, and I think she's a great candidate for this role. So I have no questions for her.
Okay. Did anybody?
Quick question.
Supervisor Horton.
Good morning.
Hi.
My question might seem a little weird, but here we go. Do you feel the urban deer population in the city is still in a manageable state, or do you feel like it's a problem?
I think it's probably becoming a problem.
I think I know my husband and I walk our dogs. We walk our dogs down around the governor's mansion a lot, and we see deer all the time. And I'm concerned about deer being hit by cars. I know one of our neighbors was in a really bad car accident when they left the house to go to the airport at 5 a.m, and they hit a deer that was in the middle of the street, and they were both injured in that car accident. I think again, a lot of people feed the deer and put out food for the deer purposely to attract the deer into their yards. And I think it's becoming a problem, but again, I think it's an education issue that people need to know, yeah, it's nice to have the deer around, but the deer, it's hurting the deer, and it's not a good idea to attract the deer into your yard. And you see them downtown, walking down the middle of the street. So I think it's may not be a problem yet, but I think it could become a problem.
Thank you.
Supervisor Schutte?
And my questions, and you've already answered them, but I'm going to read them just in case there's anything else you'd like to add.
Okay.
And I so appreciate you applying and am grateful for your knowledge base, so thank you. So my two questions were, what do you believe should be prioritized when managing wildlife? And how might we better educate community members to be good stewards of our area wildlife? You've answered both, but is there anything you'd like to add?
I think education really needs to start in the schools. I think the children need to know and understand and appreciate the wildlife. I've done this a lot through the Turtle Survival Alliance, which is a group I work with. It's an international group, and we've done a lot of education in schools internationally to teach the children about the endangered species of turtles and tortoises. And when they learn to become good stewards when they're children, and learn to appreciate wildlife and understand the benefits and the benefits that wildlife give to the community, but they need to learn it young. They need to learn it as children. Otherwise, I think it's a community-wide effort. It needs to be everywhere. It needs to be constant. It needs every time we have a function in town, there needs to be some representation of how we can do what we can do to help the wildlife. I think the press needs to be involved. Everybody needs to be involved. Does that kind of answer your question? I think it's a whole community project. It needs to be a big deal.
Absolutely, thank you.
Again, Doris, thank you so much for applying.
Well, thank you for
We're at
inviting
the,
me. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you.
Yeah, we're at the point where we can make a selection, and it sounds like Supervisor Giomi would love the privilege of your nomination.
Sure. I move to appoint Doris Dimmitt as citizen-at-large member for a 3-year term expiring August 2028 to the Carson City Board to Manage Wildlife.
I second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
and we look
much.
forward to hearing more from you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We're now to agenda item 25A, which we discussed this item earlier on the redevelopment, but this is our actual proposed resolution for the expenditure of $284,841 from the redevelopment revolving fund. Does any member have any further questions of Ms. Sullivan on this? No? Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-R-24.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it is 4 yes, 0 noes, 1 absent, and we have met the statutory requirement for the resolution. Thank you. We're now on to agenda item 26A. This is a discussion and action for Tricon Construction to do the installation of the aquatic facility 50-meter pool filter. And anything else, and that's it. Does any member have any questions on this contract that we need to bring staff up for? No? Is there any public comment on this item? No? I will accept a motion. Supervisor Giomi.
I move to approve the contract and contingency as presented and authorize Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Director to approve the expenditure of the contingency if necessary.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent. Thank you. We're now on to agenda item 27A. This is discussion and possible action to adopt on second reading Bill number 106, our proposed ordinance. Are you going to read the title,
Yes,
please?
I can do that.
Thank you. Oh, Scott, I'm like, where's? Yeah.
Ordinance 2025-6, Bill number 106, an ordinance relating to zoning, establishing various provisions relating to temporary use permits, relating other provisions relating to temporary use permits as a, repealing other provisions relating to temporary use permits as a conforming change, and providing other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you so much. Ms. Sullivan, have we had any public comments, corrections, or updates from the first reading?
Yes, the update is the DA's office did modify the language so that the temporary use permits will only apply to private property. That was requested by the board when you introduced the ordinance on July 17, 2025. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further questions? Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
Move to adopt on second reading Bill number 106, ordinance number 2025-6.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Let the record reflect it was 4 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent. Thank you so much. We're now on to agenda item 28, which is our non-action items. Does it, Supervisor Giomi have something to share?
Yeah, just a few updates from CTA. I'd like to keep you guys posted. Let me go through my notes. The Statina's Pay Dirt event happened in May. We had the summary of that. Participants were about the same as last year. They estimated just under 500 room nights were generated by the event. It's one of the few, I mentioned this last year, it's one of the few gravel bike races that pay a purse to women riders only. And there's a $10,000 purse. And we got some mentions in some cycling news, and it's sort of furthering the city's reputation as a great place to mountain bike and dirt bike and the trails that are here. Paige, I can't read the name, Onweller, was the winner for first place. So it really is a great event for the community. And they also this year added a junior event for free, which was smart on their part because it keeps boosting interest. And there's a pretty good youth contingent, a high school club team that does mountain bike riding. And so these, they work with them on promoting that. But a lot of states represented, something like 30 different states. Most of the participants were from California, which is our tourist market, frankly, and actually one from Canada. So, and the other big event that's been happening in Carson over the years is a women's fencing event. There's a German word for what they do, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it's the largest women's only rapier tournament in the U.S. It's the largest women's only saber tournament and the only women's broadsword tournament in the world. and the women's only small sword tournament in the U.S. And that is coming up at the end of this month at the community center gym. So those are big events that put Carson City on these, I don't want to say niche, but sort of smaller events
Venues.
that we become known for. So just documentation that CTA and partners are working to keep Carson in the public eye. And that's it from the CTA report.
Does anybody else have anything to?
I just wanted to give a kudo to Hope and Mackenzie for their listening tours, the follow-up for the master plan update. And, you know, the last Saturday I attended, and, you know, it's great questions, great discussion. And I've received a couple of comments from people saying, I feel better about things. I have a better understanding of the why and what has been accomplished and what isn't happening. So I just wanted to give a shout out.
Okay, great. Alrighty, then we are on agenda item 29, which is our final public comment for the Board of Supervisors. Do I have any? Mr. French.
Denny French, Carson City. Referring back to the CCSO, which mission critical partners, I'd like to say that I've been going to the community emergency management meetings when I can, and I've also gone to just about every other meeting that's available when I could. And I'd like to say that one of the things I think, you know, from their model is that they're recruiting and they're training and they're working together to collaborate. I feel that collaboration with the city and the boards could be improved with plain language being used more and more. I think there's a deficit in major way with our basic communications. Also, I feel that consent agenda items are very frustrating to me. Today, 20 was a disappointment, wasn't considered diverse enough. It was considered a regular thing. Of course, I can't ever come up with the word, but the main thing is, this isn't working. It stopped working for me a couple bits ago, but I was also dealing with some other matters that had to be priorities. Gave me a chance to look and see why this wasn't working for me and how and what I'd heard from the community in the time that I haven't been at these meetings and haven't been doing the due diligence as far as agendas. And I think we're deficient. And I think a review on how this is gotten here and how we can move forward is really, I feel, needed. And I lost my critical consideration and even my sense of hope that the community as a large may be communicating by phone and by ease and by texts and different ways, but having them come here is going to be a real challenge until we make some changes so that it's really more about listening and hearing your discussions through this board and through others, and being able to contribute questions that then will be reviewed and considered for discussion after our main comments. And that's been a frustration to me. I do appreciate the fact that all of you are available, not necessarily in ways that I'd like. I'd like to have everything I say to you, other than those things that might be more personal, to be public. Transparency is very important to me. Also, getting the same information from everybody involved when it's a situation we're going to be voting on. Those things to me are critical, and they're not happening in my mind. And I've reviewed, and I've been to, and I've been reading. I'm not a slacker when I say I'm looking at these materials, whether it's the wild, anyhow. You know where I was. I can't be there now. I appreciate the fact that the wildlife is gaining a good person with Doris. I believe I got her name correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any other public comment? No? Okay. There's no objection. Then we will adjourn as the Board of Supervisors, and we will be having closed session with the attorneys. So we're adjourned. Thank you so much.